Hey y'all, it's Tiny with Mountain Way Adventures. Today I'm going to be doing a video. My friend Shannon over at LNS Outdoors decided that he was going to post a video saying if there were 3 baits you could take fishing, what would they be? And I'm going to do my top 3. Now these are for the river, for smallmouth mostly. That's what I prefer to target. That's what I love to fish for, smallmouth. So I'm going to start with an honorable mention because it was really hard just to do 3. Number 4 on my list, which is my honorable mention, is such a versatile bait. It can be used a number of ways in a number of conditions for a number of fish, and that's the Senko. There's all different kinds of Senkos. There's different sizes. There's different colors. This is one of my favorites. It's actually a discontinued model, and I absolutely love it. So I couldn't hardly make a list of fishing for bass in the river without a Senko. Now, any of y'all who's fished with me before knows that this is definitely one of my favorites. Biggin is going to have this on pretty often. It's probably number 2 or 3 on his list. But for me, they're fall back to honorable mention. That's because the other ones I just have so much confidence in and have such good luck with them. So we're going to start out with my number 3 bait. My number 3 may surprise some people that it's not my number 1 or at least 2 because I just love it so much, and that is the Strike King Bitsy Tube. It's a commonly used bait. A lot of people throw them. You can look in the pack here and see all the salt. Here's one I actually got out of the pack. The Bitsy tubes are, let's see here, 2 3/4 inches long. So they're a small bait, perfect for targeting smallmouth. What I really like about them is the profile. They've got a smaller profile than most baits. And if you look here, you can actually see the salt impregnated on them. That's just straight out of the pack, just covered in salt. And fish just seem to love it. When they hit it, they just grab onto it and hold on to it. Now there's other ones like this. This isn't a Strike King. This one's actually made by Cabin Creek Baits. It's a pretty good bait. It's 2 1/2 inches, so it's actually 1/4 inch smaller. But the diameter of it is larger. It's also not as firm. It's really soft. And I just don't do as well with them. So if I'm going to pick that one to take with me, it's going to be the Strike King Bitsy Tube. Now going a little bit farther, I'm going to go down to the color. If I can only have one color, so one exact bait to use, it's going to be green pumpkin in the Strike King Bitsy Tube. That just outfishes everything else that I've ever thrown in a Bitsy Tube. I like the black. I like the black with red flake. I like the green pumpkin with the red flake. A number of ones. Sometimes I'll throw white. It just varies on the water conditions, what's going on, and exactly how I'm fishing it. Speaking of fishing it, there's plenty of ways to fish these things. Me and Biggin, we fish them completely different. I throw them out and I just kind of let them sit there and they roll around a little bit on the water and I'll reel them back in real slow. Biggin likes to jig them. That's just his preferred method. There's also a lot of different ways you can rig them up. Growing up, it was old school. We took a jig head, we stuck it up its butt here, poked the head out the top up here, and then we just tied onto it, and it worked perfect. Your hook's exposed, you didn't miss many bites. As times went on, I've kind of changed the way I like to fish it. And if I'm throwing one, this is the hook I prefer. It's the Gamakatsu Skip Gap. The Skip Gap to me seems to hold them a little bit better. I like to throw a 1/0 hook when I'm throwing the Bitsy Tube. I just get more hookups that way. And all I do when I rig it up is I'll take it and I'll poke it down through the head, such as that. Maybe hard to see with my green shirt, I don't know. I come right back out the side, push it all the way up. Now the Skip Gap has this extra little bend on it right there. Perfect for keeping your tubes in place and keeping them from coming off so often. You don't have to replace them nearly as often. But I go up into the hollow body, up into the butthole of it, and right above the tentacles there, I push the hook out, just like that. Thing hangs flat straight in the water. Does a really good job of just mimicking, I guess, crayfish. Those tails move like crazy. Does a fantastic thing in the water. And I'll pair it with a bullet weight. Usually this size or a little bit smaller. And I put that on my line above it and just let it come on down and hit it there, keep it close to the bottom. There's other tips and tricks you can use. One thing that I started doing last year, I'd never done before, was I actually took a piece of styrofoam. It's actually from a earplug. I pushed it up into the very nose here. And what that would do is when I would give it slack, my weight would hold here on the bottom. And as I gave it slack, my tube would actually come up off the bottom a little bit and sway in the current. It was really effective. I saw it on one of them Facebook pages and tried it, and it just seemed to work really good. Now my number 2 bait, which for a long time could have been my number 1 bait, is the Zoom Super Fluke. I started throwing Bass Assassins probably 15 years ago, and that's how I got started in this. I don't know if y'all familiar with Bass Assassins. They're just small, worked really good. We caught a lot of red eyes off from it, some smallmouth, even some largemouth. So they worked really, really good for that. As I graduated, I went up to the Zoom Super Fluke. This is the Salty Super Fluke. Really like it. My favorite color in it is albino, and I threw it for years and years and years. And there's all different colors of flukes. Here's just a few I've got. And there's different sizes too. As you can see, this one's a little bit smaller. So what I actually prefer is the Super Fluke Junior in pearl white. I went away from the albino to the pearl white, and I haven't looked back. It's a great bait. As you can see, there's not much to it. It's got a little hollow cavity right here. The way that most people like to rig them is they go in through the head here, back out the bottom, and put a hook up through the hollow body and let it come out the back. Now when you're using this size lure, you want to go to a little bit smaller hook than like a 3/0 or something. So I usually use a 2/0. That's what I use when I'm rigging them that way. I got a couple different ways I rig them, but I can't share all my secrets. So I'm just going to leave this right here. This is my number 2 bait. Up on the New River, I can probably catch 20, 25, 30, 35 bass a day with this thing. And they'll range anywhere from 8 inches to 25 inches. Hope to have some 25 inches this year. They don't always happen. But this is definitely a confidence bait. It's a little bit smaller than the Super Fluke, but the fish just love it. You catch red eyes off from it. I caught bluegill off from it. I even caught a little shad off from it. So they're very versatile baits and very good. Now my number 1 bait may really surprise people when I'm talking about going after smallmouth in the river, because I'm going to show you something here that most people probably wouldn't even have in their tackle box, let alone in their top 3. But that is the rooster tail. That's right. Just a Worden's rooster tail. This is my favorite color. It's skunk. It's the one I use, the 1/16 ounce. Now this one's a single hook that I use for trout fishing. We started using these trout fishing, and Biggin and I call them the South Fork Special because we caught so many fish off from them on the South Fork. Just fish after fish after fish. So if I'm going and I'm having a tough day, I'm taking this with me for sure. We were fishing up on the New River last year, up in Freeze, and it's an area that we didn't know. We just found a public boat ramp, thought, hey, we'll jump in. So we jumped in. We were wading up the river. A tough day. I caught 5 or 6, caught some here and there, but just consistently couldn't get a bite. None of us could. We were throwing everything from night crawlers to bitsy tubes to jigs. I caught a few off of spider jigs. Caught a couple off flukes, but it was tough. I put one of these beasts on. It was money. I probably caught 30 bass and a trout. It wasn't even in stock trout water. But, you know, the trout will get into the rivers to come down the creeks. But this right here is definitely a go-to lure. If I'm going to have one lure with me, and I'm hungry, and I don't miss many meals as you can tell, but if I'm hungry, this is the lure I want to take to try to catch a fish. So that is my top 3 baits. I recommend everybody doing this video. It's actually kind of fun and kind of fun to reminisce about, well, I caught this fish on this, and I caught this fish on that. Should use this, and I should use that. And maybe I could learn a little bit from everybody else. So I think we should all do it and see what happens. I'm also going to be giving away some baits with this. I am going to give away a pack of Strike King bitsy tubes and green pumpkin, and a pack of Zoom Super Fluke Junior and white pearl, as long with one of these rooster tails. I know it ain't a whole lot, but I want people to be able to experience my top 3 baits so they can say, yes, those are great baits. Yes, they do work. Hey, maybe Tiny knows what he's talking about. Or maybe they're going to say, what an idiot. I ain't doing this. So if you want them, all you got to do is like and subscribe this video. Leave a comment. So just hit me up, like, subscribe, and I appreciate you watching.